car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Yes, indeed. I'm pleased to tell you that we have the owner of that fine establishment with us, Frontier Motors. Well, that's not his name. His name is Iven Streckel. The name of his company is Frontier Motors, and it's located at 230 Beverly Parkway. But right now, the brains of the company are located right here in this studio, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to take any phone inquiries from you if you wanted to get the price of a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. You would call us. Us being News Talk 1370 WCOA. This is the Frontier Motor Show on Talk at 10. 478-3116, 478-3116, and I will connect you with Iven Streckel. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don. Thanks so much for the introduction. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking cars, what's going on in the car industry. And by the way, this is a double format, which means we are on 1370 AM radio live right now. And we're also videotaping this for our Blab TV customers. So you might be watching this on satellite or on cable. Don't bother calling in because the show is recorded in the morning. So if you're watching this in the afternoon or at night, it is not a live show. But for 1370 AM radio, you can join us if you'd like to get a value on your car. I've got the NEDA books, which are the books that the banks use. Very important. And for you video people, I've got a copy of the book right here. This book is not available on the internet. I know that when you Google used car values on the internet, there's a couple of formats that come up. One of them is the Edmunds. One of them is the Kelley Blue Book. One of them is a consumer's version of the NADA. The book I use is a little bit different. The reason we use this book is not because we're trying to cheat anybody, but that's what our insurance companies, our bankers and credit union people use in our area to value a vehicle as far as how much the vehicle might bring as far as borrowing money on it. Now, insurance companies, of course, they use the NED book as far as replacement value. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what you pay. We also have the Black Wholesale Guidebooks. These are the little secret books that the dealerships use. This is the data compiled from the auctions, and this is almost antiquated. We don't physically get this book anymore. Matter of fact, the book I'm holding up is from 2014, but this is what the book looks like. We actually get it on internet format and on our smartphone right now, but it is wholesale values. We can share the wholesale value with you. We also have the new car cost guides, and we bring this to the show in case you want to know what the cost is of a particular brand new car. So if you have saved up your money and you say, Iven, I don't care what you tell me, I'm not going to buy a used car, I'm buying a brand new car. Well, the least we can do is help you make sure that you don't pay too much for that car and tell you what the dealer cost is, and also kind of give you an idea of what you should pay for that new car. And the way that we get that is based on inventory. Now, I'm talking new cars right now. So if you're going to buy a brand new car, the higher the inventory, and they call that dollars day supply in the industry, the higher the day supply, the better deal you're going to get. And normally also the bigger the rebates. Because at the dollar day supply, which normally averages and hovers around 70 days supply of cars in the nation for a particular model, that if the day supply is 150 days, for example, you're going to get a much better deal. Now, I can tell you the smallest dollar day supply is Subaru. They have a 38-day supply of Subarus in the nation. That means as soon as they hit the dealership, the average car sells within 38 days, which is pretty darn good. The largest day supply is Buick. Buick has a 167-day supply of cars nationwide. Now, that means you're going to get a pretty good deal on a Buick. And folks, I definitely would recommend Buick. I just got a new... in the classified ads here in the Journal a couple of weeks ago, I saw that they had an article that says Buick earns a 2017 safety sweep. What that means is Buick is the only manufacturer that every one of their vehicles had a 5-star crash rating, which is phenomenal. Every car they build, and Lexus is good, and all these other ones are good, but they all got one that maybe has a 4 or 3-star rating, not Buick. And Buick is the only manufacturer, according to Consumer Reports, that has a brand in the top 7 as far as overall brand. And that is that's an accomplishment. Because normally you're going to have cars like Lexus, Porsche, Audi's going to be in there, Subaru's in there, Toyota's in there. Overall brands right now, by the way, while I'm on that subject, Audi is the number one brand in the United States based on consumers reports. And they're talking about not reliability, folks. There's a lot of articles that come out on which is the best car. But what does that mean? Is it the best safety rating, the best gas mileage, the best reliability, the best customer satisfaction, the best service experience? There's a lot of polls that they take. But Consumers Reports does one poll that they came out with last month that puts everything together in a pot, and they give everything a rating that includes safety, roadability, reliability, customer satisfaction. They put that all together, and they come up with the best brand overall, and they take all the different models and put it together. So Audi right now has the top spot. They have an overall score of 81 out of 100, and that's the best. Porsche is number 2. Now, Porsche is not the most reliable car on there. It's an average reliability. Porsche has average reliability, but they love the Porsche. Ownership satisfaction is phenomenal. In other words, when the owner bought a Porsche, they would recommend it again. They tested 100% of the models, Consumer Report did, and they came out with Porsche being number 2. BMW is number 3. It's kind of a surprise to me because BMW, in my book, hasn't been the best for reliability, and they only rate them average, but they love the BMW. They love the way it rode. They love the safety of it. Owner satisfaction is a plus, and reliability is average. And then came Lexus, and Lexus has always been the most reliable car on the face of the earth for years and years and years. But they only rated that number 4 because they don't like the squishy ride. Lexus is known for their really soft, supple ride, but not known for handling. So it doesn't do that good in the crash avoidance test, even though it's a very safe vehicle. Customer satisfaction is phenomenal. And of course, reliability is number 1. Subaru's always had good reliability. They're number 5. Kia, can you believe it? Kia is number 6. Mazda is number 7. Tesla number 8. Honda number 9. Buick number 10. Now, again, I said Buick was in the top 7, and that is for reliability. They're number 10 as far as overall. Toyota's behind Buick. They liked Buick better than Toyota. This is Consumer Reports. Hyundai is number 12, above Acura and Volvo, and then Lincoln, Infiniti, and so on and so on and so on down the line. So very, very interesting as far as total value of which vehicle is the best vehicle to purchase. And, you know, when you ask an independent dealership like Frontier Motors, it's really our opinion. When you go to a Lexus dealership, they're going to tell you why Lexus is number 1, why they love Lexus the best. You go across the street to the BMW dealership, BMW is number 1 as far as that salesman's concerned. And then you go to Infiniti dealership. Whatever franchise you go to, their job is to give you all the highlights of their vehicle and let you know why their vehicle is the one to buy. When you come to a lot like Frontier Motors, which we're an independent dealer, which means we don't sell brand new cars. We sell used cars. Now, some of these cars are like brand new, but we sell every make and model. So when you come on the lot and you're not sure, let's say you're going to be looking at a mid-size SUV, but you're really not sure what you want. And you're thinking, well, I'm going to have to go to 10 or 15 different dealerships, which that's dreadful. That means you got to meet 10 or 15 salespeople, maybe they're managers, and they're all going to try to put the squeeze on you while you're there to buy a car right then and there. Well, one of the things that we can help you with at Frontier Motors, number 1, you only meet one salesperson. Number 2, you're not going to get the squeeze put on you to buy a car right then and there. What we want you to do is buy a car when you're ready, not when we're ready. We come to work every day to sell cars, but we do basically is take orders. When you want to give us your order, you come in and we'll write it up for you. The third thing you can do at Frontier Motors, which I think is the best thing out of these things I'm talking about, is that you can look at all makes and models in one location. So let's say you're thinking about a mid-size SUV and you're really not sure what you want. You're not sure if you want a starter SUV, a mid SUV, or a highline SUV. Well, we have them all right there. So the starter SUV might be something like a Chevy Trax or maybe a Honda HR-V, or might be some of the smaller Kias or Hyundais. Maybe if you're going to go to something a little bit bigger, you might want to go with a Ford Explorer, maybe a Jeep Grand Cherokee, maybe an Infiniti QX70 or QX50. If you want to go with Lexus RX 350, if you want to go a little larger car, a truck, you might want to go with a Tahoe or a Yukon or a Expedition or any of those makes and models, maybe the larger Mercedes. We have them all lined up, and our salespeople are nice enough to unlock every single car every morning. So when you come on the lot and you want to look at 15 different models of SUVs, they're unlocked. A big thing other than the looks of the car is how does it fit you? When you slide behind the seat or the steering wheel and you slide on the seat, how does it feel? Is the visibility good? Does the seat go up high enough? Can you reach the pedals? Is the steering wheel adjustable right to the right way? How are the blind spots when you look back? These are all things that you can notice within seconds when you slip behind the wheel. And new car dealerships, a lot of times they keep all vehicles locked on purpose. So the salesman has to run back and forth every time you want to look at a different car. And when it's 90 degrees out, guess what? That salesman's going to have to change shirts by the time he's done with you. And you feel pretty bad for him. So there goes that obligation factor. Wow, this guy's working really hard. If I'm going to buy something, I better go back to him. We don't make you feel obligated at Frontier Motors. What our claim to fame as at Frontier Motors is helping you get a good deal, whether you buy it from us or whether you're looking somewhere else. That might be a private individual, it might be on Craigslist, it might be someone at work that's selling a car, it might be another used car dealership selling a car, or a brand new car dealership selling a car. But that's why you give us a shout before you sign anything and say, hey, Ivan, I found this Chevy Impala. My neighbor's selling it. It's a 2015. It's got 25,000 miles on it. What should I pay for this car? Well, with 350 cars in stock right now, I can look at and I can see we have got 4 Chevy Impalas. Well, I've got one that's almost a twin, and we can sell it for $15,500. Well, if that's the case, and they're asking $18,500, doesn't mean you have to buy mine. But you can go to your neighbor and say, hey, I'd rather buy the car from you, but Frontier Motors got that same car for $15,500. If you sell yours for $15,500, I'll buy it from you. And that's how we help people get a deal every day of the week.
And if you would like to get a deal, or if you would like to ask a question, by all means, give us a call, 478-3116. That's the phone number to reach Iven Streckel on the Frontier Motor Show here on Talk at 10 on News Talk 1370 WCOA. The car lot, 230 Beverly Parkway, just over Highway 29. If you're westbound on Brent Lane, past Faith Chapel Funeral Home, it's on the right-hand side where that big 14-foot fiberglass Buffalo is located, and all those automobiles. It's on the north side of the road there. But give us a call. We got 20 minutes left, 478-3116.
I did mention that we have 350 cars in stock, and normally when you drive past Frontier Motors, you're going to see a little sign that says 400 cars in stock. So technically right now I'm false advertising, Don, so I really should get the word out that I need to buy 50 vehicles immediately to make sure I'm not false advertising. So if you've got a car and you're thinking about putting it on Craigslist or eBay or AutoTrader, Cars.com, any of the websites, check out Frontier Motors because we are a little short on what we normally have on the lot. I would love to buy a car from a private individual like yourself because I can talk to you. I've got time to take the car around the block. I can see the car before I make the decision. At the auctions, you don't have that type of time. So I'd rather buy a car from a private individual here in Pensacola than buy one at the auction where I can't talk to the owner and where I can't sometimes see the car or even smell the car. I know it sounds funny because you want to smell the car. You want to make sure it's a non-smoker. You want to make sure something didn't die in the car. Now, when we're talking about independent dealerships, Consumers Reports had a cool article in June's edition of this year on page 58. They said the median price paid for a recent model used car was $18,000 when purchased from an independent used car dealership and $21,000 when purchased from a franchise dealer. In other words, what they're saying in Consumers Reports, they did a survey, and they say that you can save $3,000 on the average from buying from a used car lot versus a new car lot. Now, I think that's extreme in Pensacola. We're kind of a smaller community. I think that's probably true in New York and Chicago, San Francisco, and Miami. But in Pensacola, I don't think it's that much of a difference. I think I can save you somewhere between $1,000 to $1,500 over a franchise dealer. Consumers Report says the average is $3,000. And I'm only bringing that out because I want people to not think that if they're going to buy a used car that they have to go to the new car dealer that sells that car. In other words, let's say you're thinking about buying a 1 or 2 year old Lexus. You don't necessarily have to drive to Lexus Mobile. We've got about 15 to 20 pre-owned Lexus in stock all the time. A lot of them are like brand new, like 16 miles or 15 miles with under 15 or 10,000 miles on them. So I would say that our claim to fame, other than the free advice that we give to people when they're in the market, is that we have the alternative to new. If you're thinking about buying a brand new car, which 17.5 million people did last year, they didn't think about it. They actually put their money down and took one home. That was a brand new record in 2016. 17.5 million people bought brand new cars. They weren't listening to our show. They didn't care what we said. And they went to a new car dealer and they bought a brand new car. Consumers Reports, by the way, while I'm on the subject, before I get back into what I was talking about before, put into writing what I've been talking about for 20 years at Frontier Motors, This is in April 2015's edition, page 21. It said the average new car loses 27% in the first year. That equates to $9,180. Let's round that out to $9,200. The first year depreciation, I feel bad for those people that bought that brand new car, is $9,200. Don, I had somebody trade in an Expedition the other day. It was a $77,000 Expedition.
Wow.
Can you imagine if you lose 27% of that? It's crazy. I drove a Jaguar to the show today. The Jaguar, brand new, is $93,000. It has 2,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it on the internet for $69,900. Let's just round that off to $70,000. $23,000 depreciation in 2,000 miles. Why would anybody even think about buying a brand new car? I know why. Because they think that there's something wrong with the used car.
Sure.
And they're not going to take a chance. And that's why I'm here to tell you that if we ever sold a car that had an issue, and when I'm talking about issues, I'm talking about what they call gray market. Most people don't know what that means, but in the car business, that means salvage title. People are worried about a salvage title car. They're worried about a flood damage car. They're worried about odometer problems. They're worried about lemon law buybacks. How do I know it's not a lemon? Why would somebody trade in a car that's got 500 miles on it? It's got to be a lemon. I'm going to guarantee you, right now the show is being videotaped, and Don's going to keep the show, that I will tell you, if I ever sell at Frontier Motors a vehicle like that, you will get your money back in full, including taxes and everything. Number one, we'd never want to get that word out that slipped by us. But number two, because when I buy the cars at auction, for example, the auction guarantees them against that. If I ever buy a bad car, they'll give me my money back. And even if they didn't, I'd still give you your money back. So you're guaranteed. Now, you still have to make sure the vehicle hasn't been in an accident. It can be a minor fender bender. It could be $15,000 worth of damage. So we run the Carfax history reports on every car before we purchase them. We put our Carfax and our auto check in the glove box. You don't even have to ask for them. A lot of dealerships forget to mention that you need to ask for them. While Frontier Motors, our cars are unlocked. The history reports are put in the glove box. But again, I got off subject. We were talking about the fact that we need 50 cars. So if you're going to sell your cars, come to Frontier Motors. We can just write you a check. You'll be surprised. We buy about 10 to 15 cars every week from private individuals. Now, total, we sell between 50 and 80 cars a week. That means I've got to buy 50 to 80 cars a week. Now, the ones I can't buy from private individuals, I'll buy them at the auction or I'll take them in trade. Sometimes I'll buy them from other dealerships. If a dealership, for example, if a Lexus dealership takes in a pickup truck, they might not want that, so they call an independent dealer like Frontier Motors. A lot of the dealerships in our area know that we buy a lot of cars. So when they take a vehicle in trade that they don't have a market for, they call us and we do the appraisal. So we end up with a nice car locally. But really, I'm getting the word out, folks, because our biggest problem that we have at Frontier Motors is not selling cars. People come in and they just buy cars from us. And the reason they do is because the way we do business, how easy it is, we don't ask stupid questions like, what do you want to pay? What do you want for your car? What do you want your payments to be? What we do, we feel that when you come in, you point at a car and say, hey, I really like that car. And let's say you take it around the block and you say, I love that car. The next question, of course, is what's the bottom line? What are you going to sell to me for? I know you're asking $30,000, but is that it? Or do you have a little bit of negotiating room? So the salesman at that point will come to one of our sales managers. We have 5 of them. They'll say, hey, we've got a customer out there. They really like the car. They want to know what's our bottom line. So we look at our costs. We put a small profit on it. And we say, here's what we'll sell it for. Here's the taxes, title, and dock fee. Here's your trade-in value. And here's your total out the door. And we circle that total out the door figure. We make you a copy of that slip, and we give it to you. And say, here's what we can do. A lot of people that have bought cars from us know it's going to be a good deal, a fair deal. We're not ripping you off. And they'll say, I'll take it. Some people say, well, I'm really not sure. This is my first time in. I still want to shop around before I make that decision. Well, here's our proposal. Why don't you shop around? Now, the reason we can do this and not feel intimidated that we're going to lose your business like some dealers do, where they run after you. You've seen that happen if you bought new cars. They'll give you a price and then they run after you if you don't take it. Is because we do all the research before we give you that price to make sure it is a fair deal. I had a customer call me yesterday. Actually, they texted me and said, I've got a friend of mine that's looking for a Suburban. I see you have one on the lot. And we see you're asking $46,000 for it. Is that your bottom line price? So the first thing I did is I got my computer and I typed in my Suburban, and they have a program on my Suburban called Price Driver. And what it does is it pops up every Suburban that's just like mine within 150 miles. I noticed there's 12 of them. The least expensive one was $42,000. So I priced mine at $42,000 because I don't want to be embarrassed. Now the retail on the car, on that particular truck, was $46,000, and we were asking retail for the vehicle. Now a lot of times we don't have that type of flexibility because that's a lot of flexibility. Sometimes when we put them online, that's the best that we can do. But on this particular one, because it's such a readily available vehicle, I can sell it and get another one tomorrow morning. I gave him that price because I wanted to make sure that when he went and shopped around, I actually made him a copy of the price driver. And I took my phone, I took a screen snap of it. I sent it to him so he could see every dealer that had a Suburban, and he could go to that dealer and see if that was the bottom line or not. And I'm very confident we had a one-owner, clean history report car, no accidents. So I feel and we had a white one. He wanted white. So a lot of these were black and burgundy and blue. So we had a pretty good, a reasonable chance of getting their business. But that's what we do at Frontier Motors, folks. We don't get intimidated that you're going to buy somewhere else. I'm the first one to tell you that we don't sell everybody a car. I took a poll out there. I got it from our Department of Motor Divisions. There's 133 dealers in Pensacola area, registered dealers. Now, some of them are really small. They sell 5 cars a month. But I'm just telling you, they're a dealer. And you can go to 133 of them in Santa Rosa and Escambia County. So we have a lot of competition. And we'll tell you, if you find a good deal, let us know what that is. We'll do the Carfax. We'll do the auto check. We'll tell you, it's a good deal. Go buy it. And you know what? People love that. Right. You see, I can't believe you tell me to go buy something. Oh, I don't want you. I want you to buy from us. But if it's a good deal and you like the person you're doing with, you like the vehicle, you like the person, you like the dealership, you like the fact they're giving you a warranty, you like the fact they're treating you good, the car's got a clean history report, which I've already told you. It's a good deal. I've already told you that. Go buy it. And people end up sending us customers because we give them that good advice. A couple different things. You can do one for $44, or you can do 5 for like $65. But why do that when we'll do it for free? And the next day we were inundated with calls from all over the nation asking us to do Carfax reports for free from people from San Antonio and California because they heard the show nationwide. It's the first time I've been, subject to that, which I thought was kind of cool. Now, the people in the Pensacola area, if you've been listening to the show or watching us on Blab TV, you'll know that we give free advice. We will give you the Carfax report. We will give you the auto check report, no charge. We will tell you what to pay. If you give us a little bit more detail about the car, I need to know a couple of things. I need to know the equipment of the car. I need to know the color of the car. I need to know the interior color of the car. Now, you might think, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, when you're buying a used car, it has a lot to do. When you're buying new, most of the color prices are the same. Now, every once in a while, you might have a clear coat paint job or something. That might be more. But if you buy a blue one, brown one, red one, white one, they're all the same price. Well, used, it's different. Because there's some cars that are popular in color and some that aren't. I'll give you an example. Purple. Purple is not that popular of a color. Now, I saw a Dodge Charger on the way to the radio show this morning that was so purple it almost blinded me. But the person that bought that car loves that car. But when they're going to get ready to resell that car, they're going to get a little bit of a case of the, what? That's all it's worth? Hey, I'm sorry, man. It's purple. I don't have too many people saying, you got any purple cars? But people do buy purple. I'm just saying that is a difference. Don, did you figure it out?
Yeah, $39.99 is the minimum price. You can get a cheaper thing if you do it by the dozen and all that.
Okay.
But $39.99 is your beginning price for Carfax, according to this site.
So, Don, that's how I came up with 44 because I figured if it's $40 plus the taxes, you're going to be around $44 for a Carfax report. So, folks, freebies at Frontier Motors on Carfax reports. Now, the reason we like advertising that, we're the only dealer that I think does that, is because when you call in on a particular car, let's use the Impala I was talking about, and I pull up the Impala. Oh, by the way, Mr. Customer, that car you're talking about, it's got a clean history report. Or let's go the opposite. Wait a minute. That car's been in a crash. Airbags were deployed last year. Major accident reported. But you know what? I got one in stock, just like it, that has a clean history report. No accident report, one owner. And mine's $15,500. You know what happens? Next thing you know, the customer's on our doorstep. Why are they on our doorstep? Because I offered something for free. It's not because we put the hard sell on the customer, say, you don't want that car, you want ours instead. It's because we gave them something else to think about. And we do that all day long when you think about buying a brand new car. And I get people calling and they want to know, what's the invoice on a brand new Avalanche? Well, I've got the invoice book right here, but we might have one in stock. I got a 2017 Highlander. Let's say you're going to be looking at a Highlander over at Bob Tyler, which is our local dealer. And by the way, if you're going to buy a brand new one, I urge you to use Bob Tyler. He's our one and only dealer. And I would definitely want you to keep the money here. So we'd never talk bad about them. But I have a Highlander in stock with 300 miles on it. Now, wouldn't it be nice to know how much can I save you? I always tell people, well, if I can't save you any money, go buy a brand new. I think that's Eddie Mercer's slogan. I shouldn't say it. I think his slogan is, I can't save you any money.
Right.
Don't come to me. Sorry, Eddie, I didn't need to use your slogan there. But what I'm getting at is that when I buy this Highlander, I find out what the cost is on a new one. I find out what the rebates are. I take that all in consideration so I can have a gap. Now, it might not be $9,200 like Consumers Report says, but what if I could save you $3,000 on a Highlander that has 300 miles on it? It's like brand new. I got a Ford Escape with 800 miles on it. I have a Buick Encore with 1,000 miles. We have a Subaru Legacy with 1,800 miles. If you're going to buy a Subaru, you go to Billy Anderson right here. Go look at a brand new 17 in stock. Get a price from him out the door. Let's take a look at mine with 1,000 miles on it and see if I can save you any money. If I can't, go buy his. A lot of times I can do especially well when you have a trade-in because we sell every make and model. Sometimes when you go on a Lexus lot with a diesel truck, you might get a low appraisal. They're not too excited about a diesel truck. Well, I am. We do a good diesel business. Because we're independent, between 300 and 400 cars in inventory, we sell every make and model. So you're going to get a good appraisal just about every single time. And by the way, before you go buy a brand new car, you bring us that trade-in of yours, and let me appraise it for you and tell you, here's what I'll write you a check for. And you're not even going to buy mine. You're going to buy a brand new car. Let me tell you what I'll write you a check for yours. That way they're not going to reduce the appraisal. And you'll see that happen once in a while when you get that really good deal. You see that newspaper, it's a blowout price. They're not making any money. It's a very good deal. But when you get there, the way they make that extra money is to take a $10,000 trade-in and give you $7,000 for it. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to make sure they give you what I give you, and you're not even buying a car from me at this point. Hopefully you will. Anyways, we only got a couple of minutes left. I want to let you know that we are on Facebook. So like us on Facebook. We also have a great YouTube. If you're not watching this, you're listening to this. If you want to watch it and see my ugly mug, go to YouTube, type in Frontier Motors. We're going to have like 5 or 6 of these, and we'll have the latest one here. This will be on here in a couple of days, so you can watch this or share this if you have got somebody that needs some advice. And that's the whole thing about Frontier Motors, folks, is you'll notice I haven't talked about a single car as far as how much it is and the sale price and any of that, which a lot of these shows talk about their individual cars and what good deals they give you. I've not even said that. What I'm saying is that if you're in the car market, we are the place to call for advice on how much should you pay for a new car, which car is a good car or a bad car, how much should you pay for a used car, what you should sell your car for and how to get it ready for sale, what will pay you for a used car, what's the Carfax report say. I can go on and on of what we do with every customer that comes in, whether they're buying from us or somewhere else. And we never berate you if you're going to buy somewhere else. We just want to make sure that you get a good deal. That way you're going to recommend us to your friends, relatives, neighbors, and say, hey, you guys got to see those guys at Frontier Motors. They actually do what they say. Can you believe it? They actually let me walk out without making me feel guilty. And that's really when our claim to fame is how good we make you feel when you come in. You can actually have fun when you buy a car from Frontier Motors. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Overpaid, come in today, doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead.